Okay, boom. There we go. I'm getting better and better at that each day or each time we do this. If you guys like that song, make sure you go click, or I'll link you it when I get the chance. My good friend Overwolf has a great SoundCloud website that I do all of his music there. But we have a great guest with us today, creator of Legacy, Mr. Sean Fontaine. Love the last name, Bioshock. Welcome, man.
How's it going? Nice to be here.
Pretty good. This is the 5th show. Pretty excited about it. We're getting better each time we do this, like I said, and doing this and helping out other indie devs with their game and just promoting out there is definitely a key, or definitely what we want to do. I think it's just I'm pretty excited about it. But I really appreciate you for jumping on here. And yeah, how are you? How's everything? Where are you from?
Well, I'm doing great. I'm out here in the middle of New Hampshire, which is right next to basically nowhere. So, I won't even bother explaining how far away from everything I am. But I'm sort of in the Boston area development community. So I'm within like a 2-hour drive to downtown Boston. So I can hobnob with the people I went to school with, and talk to people I worked with. So I'm sort of in the dev circle and the East Coast hub per se.
Oh wow! So you were right by Pac East, like right by it.
Yeah, I just hopped the bus, went there, got off, and was able to find one of the few remaining hotel rooms that was nearby.
Yeah, I bet. I was so lucky, man. Oh man, so jealous.
Lucky.
So how'd you get into game development? I think I asked this question, like the first question each time to every dev, and their story is very unique. But yeah, how'd you get into it?
Well, back in high school, I was really into art, movies, and what I wanted to do when I grew up was to be in visual effects.
Nice.
So right out of high school, naturally I became a banker. So
naturally.
Wow, naturally.
Good job.
I could really exercise my artistic muscles as a banker.
Yeah.
It's one of those life curves that gets thrown your way, and you're just kind of like, all right, I got to pay bills. So I ended up working in the financial district for a long time. But I was completely miserable, and I just wanted to do something different, but I didn't have the gumption to actually take that step and switch careers. So luckily around 2007 2008 our economy tanked. Great,
Yay.
Luckily.
Yeah, so I was laid off and basically forced into the position that I had to choose my life career at that point, and I was like, it's a good time to start from square one, because that's pretty much where I am. So I talked it over with my wife, and her and I decided that she would support me in, so I would go to school to become what I wanted to be. So I went to Boston University Center for Digital Imaging Arts, got schooled in 3D animation and digital media, and soon after graduation, I was lucky enough to have a classmate of mine had already formed a company with another woman, a small indie dev company out of Boston called Giant Space Cat. Right now they're developing an iOS game, and for most of 2011 I was working for them, and that's where I got the bug, and I decided making games is really what I want to do. I was really in love with movies and visual effects, but I realized you could do all that and more in a game. So
yeah, that's I want to do film. I want to do directing and stuff like that, and yeah, when the gaming, taking this world and putting and showing gamers and playing and your characters and stuff like that. It's I've heard this. I think it was in the indie dev movie. It was it's the ultimate art form. It really is. Just everything is there. You can play it. It's really awesome.
It's an interactive book, if you will.
Yeah, pretty much.
Exactly.
What'd you say there, Aaron?
I said or movie.
Or movie, yeah.
Interactive book.
Did you say erection?
Sculpturing with motion picture.
No, everybody disregarded my erection. What is he talking about?
I heard that.
Okay. How long has Legacy been in development? How long have you been doing this?
Yeah, tell us a little bit about your game.
Well, as far as how long it's been in development, I've had ideas about it since high school, per se. So it's been. I don't want to date myself, but that was a long time ago. But it really got going in earnest in March of 2013, when I really just sat down and I was like, all right, this is going to get done, whether it's successful or not. So I started pretty much on my own developing, and it's sort of like opposite what you hear for game development. I think in the terms of you hear like a programmer will go and start building a game, and then they build the assets and the visuals after they start the core, scripting and stuff. I'm coming from the opposite. I came towards it as I want to make a great story, and I want to make awesome visuals, and I want to make it look really awesome. And then from the story and the visuals, I developed an idea for the game mechanics. So it's like almost like a reversal of what pretty much everyone else does, I think.
Are you doing the programming yourself? Tell us about your company. How many people are in it? Who does what roles? What do you do? Stuff like that.
Well, I'm the owner and creative director. I founded Polyfountain Media LLC, which is sort of the parent company now. I did that basically just, like out of a way to shell everything together. If this game takes off, which I hope at some point, I can kind of just keep it all under one roof. But so about a year in development, 6 months into that, I decided, you know what, I can't do everything all by myself. And I don't think anyone in game development, unless you're like super awesome and way more advanced than I am, which probably most people are, they need a team to help them out. So I have about 9 other people who have come on board to help me.
Wow, that's awesome.
And to their credit, they're doing it for no money.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're sharing my vision, and they kind of I'm hoping that they see where this can go. So I've surrounded myself with like 2 writers, researchers, 2 concept artists, 3 modelers, and digital composer, and my first voice actor. So
Nice.
That's awesome.
We have a similar situation. There's 7 of us in total, and we kind of got together and said, all right, we need to get set roles, and we all kind of went to everyone that we knew and kind of, put together our team. Obviously, not everyone was able to make it tonight, unfortunately. But Andy's our sound guy. I'm a designer. Aaron's our lead programmer, and Kevin our marketer. But that's really cool. I like I like the writers. Tell us about your game. The fact that you are into the story and you have 2 writers, I want to know as much as I can about the story, because that is like my sweet spot in video games.
Right.
Is the story.
yeah, story for me is like key for any game. Just to quickly frame that, have any of you played the Legacy of Kain series of games?
Yes.
Yes.
My first taste of that was Soul Reaver, and
Yes.
that game
Yes.
was just like, that's almost the perfect game to me. It had the most amazing story. It had great cutscenes. It had great voice acting. It had great animation for the time, and visuals for the time. And it's just like, I wanted to make a game like that. So I'm a big fan of stuff like sci-fi, action adventure, and then on another angle, I really was a big fan of the X-Files TV show. So like anything that's like weird, strange, or has to do with aliens, as far as the current mythology of alien abduction and
You're a
lost
sci-fi nerd.
time and
Yeah.
ancient civilizations, all of that wraps together, and I'm like, I would love to make a great story about that, and that's kind of the genesis of what Legacy is about.
That's pretty sick. I noticed that it was a third-person RPG. I'm in love with third-person. I love third-person.
I want to see myself play. That's the thing. If I'm gonna be a kick-ass, awesome character in a game, I don't want to just see my hands. I want to
Exactly. Yeah.
see my whole body.
Yeah, like I like both, but something about that third person, it's just I like Drake's Fortune. There's some other one, Gears of War. Like I love it. It definitely multiplayer. When I was playing multiplayer, it was difficult with that. It was a different kind of Dark Souls. I like how Andy Dark Souls. I really like that. So that's I like that you're going in a third person.
Yeah.
What inspired you to make Legacy? Since you're a sci-fi nut, are you just like that was your call? Like I want to make a sci-fi game.
It's sort of an extension from back when I was saying I wanted to make movies. It's like you said, it's the ultimate art form. So I wanted to make a game that I thought, that would be an awesome movie, but I also want to be in that movie. So it's like, sort of like an interactive movie in my head right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some people say that interactive movies or graphic novels or books have no place in video games, but I completely don't agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that storytelling is storytelling, and people want to be entertained, and that's just another avenue to be entertained. So
Yeah. And now, how far are you in development with this? I know. Excuse me, I'm sick and I sound like crap. Yeah, how far in development
sexy.
are you with?
Sounds sexy.
Oh, thank you so much.
He's like the hair.
Oh man.
So yeah, as far as being in development, I'm still pretty much well in pre-production at this point because again I don't have a full-time programmer, and what I've been able to do, I familiarized myself with UDK and Kismet, so now I've actually subscribed to UE4, and I'm doing what I can in the blueprints.
Yeah.
So, which is a great system, but it for a non-programmer being visual, it's a lot slower. So
Yeah, UE4. I was checking it out, the videos. I was just blown away. Like I'm like, holy crap, that's crazy. Like the lighting effects and stuff like that. I'm really excited to see the game in this engine.
Yeah, I can't wait to flesh it all out. And a lot of the time I've been spending the last year creating assets for the game and stuff. But, and I've been porting the FBXs into the Unreal Engine just to see how they look. And I'm like, oh, that looks awesome.
I want more.
Right.
I kind of got a. Oh,
No, go on.
Kind of two questions here. I'm just going to take up some time. The first question is, what can you tell us about the game story-wise? Like, I don't want you to release too much information because obviously you don't want to, like, here's my entire game. It's just what you can tell us. What's the game about? What's the idea behind it?
All right. So the game is set in our near future, like the year 2030 is when the story begins. And the funny thing was when we started writing this story, stuff about Ukraine and the Middle East and all that stuff was still not really boiling up to the point that it is now. But a lot of what we were writing, as far as the collapse of modern society, seems to be mirroring what we already wrote. So I'm like, wow, this is really friggin' scary if this actually happens the way we wrote it. But so in the game. The world is kind of scrambling for power and assets and stuff, and people are just being basically shitty to each other. And then the unthinkable happens, and there's this massive invasion by this unbelievable alien force that pretty much smacks everybody down to shit, and people are just like, okay, we gotta just survive now. It's like no more about petty differences and stuff like that. And part of it is I wanted to make a little bit of a morality play in there, but it does start out that the world is basically hell in a handbasket, and the aliens are just kind of running rampant, but they're not really the typical alien invaders where they come to try and kill everybody, which is part of this story that I can't tell right now. So there's a little bit of a twist, and it also goes back to tying back together all of the stuff from history. Part of what my researchers are working on is getting stories of actual alien abductions and sightings of UFOs going back through history, and it also ties in some like occurrences of supernatural things like ESP,
Ooh.
and like Nostradamus, and predictions of the future. It's all tied together with these aliens that end up coming to give us the smackdown.
Oh man. So
Question mark
this is, like,
Illuminati.
a lot of mystery.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we tried to make it like very intertwined with all existing history and our hopefully not future, because
God no.
it's
God,
not a
no.
good thing.
That's awesome.
I really like that.
Well, then that brings the next question would be is, have you put the game out there, and what's the kind of hate you received from it? And we don't, I am very much interested in your game. I cannot wait till it comes out. I can't wait to play it. I don't mean hate as in a bad thing. I mean hate as in every game designer, no matter what role you play, you're going to get some kind of hate for whatever game it is. For example, last week we had a gentleman on the show, and he was talking about his game, and he put it on Steam Greenlight, and some just random people were commenting on his games, like saying good things, but you occasionally get that guy just saying like, "This sucks, this is terrible, this is a bad game," like for no reason. So, which I really like to hear people's responses to that question: is what hate have you received, and how did you handle it?
Well, I did a lot of research about marketing and stuff, and how early or how late you should release information about a game. I think I've been erring on the side of caution because I haven't heard anything bad yet, and I think that's probably because I haven't put it out enough. So but I have I started with Facebook, but Facebook really isn't the optimum.
It's a joke.
But Twitter is starting to kind of take off.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So, and I'm putting together a Tumblr and a Pinterest for it. But for now, Twitter is kind of like the main way I'm getting the word out. And I also didn't want to put too much out there because I don't have a working prototype yet.
Yeah.
But I wanted to put it out enough that enough people might recognize it when it does come out. If that makes any sense.
I've seen some people on Facebook, like I've seen already people like, oh, I went on like Google or Facebook and I found this game. I'm like, you have a fan base now. I mean, it's not huge, but there's still people want the game, and that's pretty cool.
That's cool.
We have go ahead, Aaron.
No, I was gonna say the same thing you were.
We have in chat William2467 asked the question: is your game similar to Falling Skies?
In the sense that it's a post-apocalyptic future where there's sort of like a human resistance, yes. But as far as the core storyline, definitely no.
Okay.
So.
Well, I hope that answers your question. Will.
There you go, stream or viewer. There's your question.
Yeah,
We care about our fan base.
Now, did you have any troubles along the way trying to get people like your team? How was that? Maybe like software issues, or not software issues, but I guess any issues.
Surprisingly, not as much as I thought I would. What I started out doing was at first, I went through my, the people I knew who are my friends and my family, and who might be able to contribute to the project, and I realized I don't know anyone creative. So,
Zero creativity with friends.
right. I'm sorry if any of my family is listening.
Oh man, that's so
guys,
funny, man.
I love you, but you're not, But anyway, so I went out and I actually went to sites like internship.com and posted on there for unpaid internships, and I generated quite a lot of interest through that.
Ooh.
And that's another. That would be a great resource for anyone who's looking to get people to come on board a project that they can't pay for, but they're willing to work for nothing because they can see the benefits, plus they're working towards their own careers, and they can use this as a stepping stone and a good referral and all that stuff. So
Okay, that's pretty cool. We've had I know I've said it every night that I've been in this chat, but I just love the way our team got put together, and the way you said that with no one being creative. Kevin and I are kind of like when we first started out with this whole who do we want?
We're freaking geniuses.
Who wants to make these games with us? Because we were just, I don't know, we just wanted it, and we didn't have enough people, and there's no way we could do it by ourselves. And just the way we met people, like we met two of our programmer and our artist completely off social media randomly. We had our artist referred to us, and we had our programmer met last year because I posted something about like, oh, here's my homework, because I'm a game design student. And he's like, what kind of freaking homework do you have? And we just started talking, and now we met Aaron, and now he's programming our games for us.
It's crazy how, social networking works like that sometimes,
Yes, yes. It's also crazy how nice some people are and how like rude other people are. Like when I met the people that we're involved with, the indie developers and the people that work for us, they were all super like, man, how's it going? Hey, let's talk about what you got going on. Oh, you make games? That's cool. What have you made so far? And then we meet those other people like, your game is stupid. We don't like it. Stop making games are bad. It's like, we're indie, man. Cut us some slack.
Or how about, show me your game. What did you make?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you worked everything I know about? It's like, calm down.
I know a lot of the when I'm on Twitter and stuff, like just looking at other games and finding your game, all the indie developers that we've talked to and the ones on Twitter that tweet back and reply, the indie industry is very, very nice, or that I see, the ones that have talked, they seem like everybody's very like a little knit family, like, hey, check out this game, check out that game, hey, check out my game. And I really like that. I really like how that is. But then, like, you do have some of the gamers that go after the indie developers and it's not nice. It was Thunder, I believe, or Aaron just let out a huge fart.
It is crazy nice because last year I think it was. I'm sure I know all of us have because I forced everyone to watch it, but I'm sure you've seen the movie Indie Game the movie, or you've at least heard of Super Meat Boy.
I've heard of both. I haven't seen either.
Okay, the lead programmer. Well, there's only two people. There's the only programmer, Tommy Perfini's. I actually emailed him last year when I was really starting to get heavy into. I have the tools now. I can make games because getting through school and all that. I actually emailed him because he was like my biggest inspiration, him and Edmund, because I followed them before I saw him in the movie because I loved playing the Flash games with Newgrounds as like a little kid. That's how I kind of grew into game design. And I saw the movie and I saw them. I was like, oh my god! And, I ended up emailing him, or no, I posted something about him on Tumblr, and he reposted it saying, he's like, hey man, shoot me an email and ask whatever questions you got floating around your head. So immediately my heart dropped and I was like, oh my god, you're kidding me, right? So I emailed him this huge, all these questions and all that. And he emailed me back like all this inspirational stuff, answered all my questions about the industry, everything about being indie, and I'll never forget it because I have the email saved, like right on my computer. He says, from what you've told me, and if everything you tell me is true, it sounds like you're really passionate about your work. Remember to just do what you love doing, and everything else will fall into place. And that too with one of my professors. Actually one of my professors worked for Sony, and he worked on all the Guitar Heroes.
Nice.
And I was talking to him about it because he's a big car buff like me, and he said he started out really small and crappy, and he focused on his passion, which was making games, and he ended up working for Sony at the end of his career. And right before he retired, he's like, I just worked on what I loved, and everything else fell into place. I had all these cars, a big house, family, everything. He's like, I don't have to worry about anything. And all I did was follow my passion. So I was like, wow, that's really inspirational. So
That's like the dream right there.
Yeah, that right. But kind of to branch off what Kevin said with how nice the indie community is, to contact someone that is a millionaire, self-made millionaire, and has like one of the biggest indie names in the freaking industry, and him to actually take the time out of his day, even because he couldn't spend too much time. He said he was hardcore crunch for this game that he's got coming out in like 2 months. For him to take his time and actually talk to some random kid or a guy or whatever, it was like that's awesome.
I know they're like most indie superstars like that, or that start indie and become mainstream even. They're surprisingly humble and generous,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it just surprises me to no end that they're like that, whereas every other kind of industry, especially like, Hollywood and stuff.
Oh,
Like, do
yeah.
you think any movie star would take the time
No.
if someone
F
emailed
off.
them and say,
Yeah,
No,
right.
they pay someone else to either answer the emails or just have a bot do it.
right.
Yeah, that's just sad.
Where like
But,
I guess I could see where if someone in the indie community could be a little dickish, possible maybe like someone maybe too many negative comments or too many people are like emailing him or stuff like that. It kind of gets you. I mean, that movie Phil Fish. I mean, he's probably a nice guy, and if someone sent him an email, people would probably be like, he'd probably be like, F you, like there was so much negative shit. So, I mean, it goes both ways. You can be, positive and then, you're positive all the time. Then that, people get on your back and you become negative. So, I mean, it's like yeah, I don't know.
I'm coming from is the financial and banking industry, so people were shitting on me all the time.
Yeah.
So it can only go up from there.
Taking a dump on me.
Right.
Only go up from here.
What do you want the gamer to feel from your game? Like, what do you? I think every game designer, or person that's making a game wants something the gamer wanting to feel from it, take from it.
That's a great question, and I actually was talking about this with one of my writers the other day, and the game reminds me of what I loved as a kid wanting to be, and it was like I didn't know what I wanted to be.
Uh-huh.
So, like, how games usually they say you have to really focus on one aspect of the game to make it very coherent and playable, to make it this big giant mom-made pizza with all the weird peppers and sausages and stuff sticking out of it, and I want to have action in it. I want to have a little bit of survival horror in it. I want to have some space sim in it, so I'm throwing it in there. So I want people to experience all the stuff they loved growing up. At least I experienced growing up.
That's awesome.
So
I really like that because one of my favorite games is Kingdom Hearts, and since I think I played it when I was really young, like 14, 15, and at that age I was like girls and like thinking about like what I want to do in life and stuff like that, and then playing that game and then and I love Disney as well, and then getting into that and like your friend betrays you and then like in this love story, like I got drawn into it, and I love how games you draw into it and you're obsessed with it, and when it ends, like I wanted to cry. I'm like, no! I'm like, I want more! Come back! Like, I think that's awesome, man. I love when people focus on the story.
I want people to get emotionally invested in the characters.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Too,
That's what I
so.
think people should do in video games and in game characters. I
Funny-
think that makes a great game. Go ahead, Jack.
Funny you say that. The emotionally invested in the characters. I've actually been playing ESO lately to kind of get some. I've been trying to research a little bit, get some ideas because I like to do side projects too. And I find myself at so many different times in the game where I have to make a decision like to help this guy or totally screw him over and help this guy, and I'm sitting there and I'll completely abandon the quest and do everything over again because I like, you know what? I want to go help this guy instead. I don't like to help this guy. And it's like I just wasted like 30 minutes. I know that.
Nice.
It's,
I did that in the WoW once.
version.
Hey, someone asked
Go ahead.
why you UDK. Was there any particular reason?
First, well, UE4 now because I, had already been familiar with UDK. But the reason I went for UDK was, at the time, they had the, you could download the editor for free, and if you, came out with a game, you would, the first $50,000. Profit would be yours, and then after that, you would pay the licensing fees. And at the time, I didn't think I'd be anywhere near making a game, so I could learn it,
Right.
without worrying about paying for anything. So, and I also thought that it was, for a free editor at the time, it was probably the most robust one that I could see, and Unity was probably the only other option. And, comparing the two, I just thought that UDK at the time was just the more robust system.
Mhm.
Very nice. Andy, Aaron, do you have any questions except for because I'm gonna move on to the next. Moving on. I love your being here.
No, I'm good.
Pause. No.
I don't know how to react.
It's okay. So how was
No one's around. It's easy, but
so how was I know we were talking about it before the show. How was PAX? And I'm super jealous. Let me say that for the second time. I'm very jealous. Very
Like,
jealous.
holding back.
I describe it as like a video games carnival. You know,
I would think
it's
of like a
just-
video game orgy or something like that. You know, like everybody's just
Whoa.
like, oh, yo, games.
Whoa.
Oh, did I go too far? I'm sorry.
Sometimes, yeah, it felt like that sometimes on the convention floor, but yeah, it's just like so many games packed into like this tight little space. Well, it's a huge space, but you go in, it just feels tight because there's so much stuff. And not only that, like I went mainly for the talks, you know, for the dev talks. So like, you know, all the little offices surrounding the convention floor, you know, had something going on at any given time. So, you know, you could just not get, 5 feet without running into something awesome.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and if you have the means and the time and you're lucky enough to score tickets the next time around, I highly recommend you try to get to one of these things because it's just an amazing experience from a developer point of view, but even gamers just, you know, getting there to be able to play the stuff that's not released yet and all that, it's just incredible.
So how much swag did you get? You probably got a bunch.
You know, I didn't really get much at all because
No.
I was just one of those really focused. I got to go to my next little keynote, so so I kind of like didn't cut through the main aisles and stuff and grab my swag. But you know, I did get my Titanfall.
There you go.
Outpost patch. So
There
that
you
was
go. Oh, I love anything with mechs.
That's
Anything.
That was cool.
Our future game that
Yeah.
when we have enough games under our belt, and all of our viewers have heard this 1,000 times, that we are making
Mech Rust, baby.
Rust.
Mech Rust. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna be beautiful. You don't even know.
We should just call it Mech Rust.
Have you played Rust before?
Rusty.
What was that?
Have you played Rust before?
No.
That's why. Okay. So Rust is a sandbox, open world kind of game. You literally log in the middle of the woods.
You're
and you
butt
have to-
naked.
And you're butt naked, and you have to go find, like, collect supplies, build like tools, and then build a house and survive through the night. By the way, that's no joke. It's extremely dangerous at nighttime because it's pitch black. You literally can't see anything. Your screen goes
Butt
black.
your dick. Honestly.
And animals hunt you, and other people hunt you. So,
Nice.
so it's all about
Yeah.
like finding supplies and building a house. Our idea is have a post-apocalyptic scene where you find supplies, build mechs, build garages for the mechs to sit in,
And then
go out,
death.
fight other players, death, repeat. Everything Rust is except mechs. So
That
when we
sounds
talk
like
about
a nice
Mech Rust-
expansion pack for that game.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly, right? Exactly. I'm super excited.
We better quit talking about it. They're gonna scoop it up.
Scoop it up.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a great idea. Next thing on Kickstarter, Mech Rust.
Mech Rust.
Rust with
$1
mechs.
million. You talked about how you were learning and researching about marketing. How hard was it for marketing? On my end, you know, we're new to this, and I'm new to this, so I'm slowly learning it. But how was it, or how was it learning it, or are you still learning? Obviously, you're still learning.
I'm still learning, and you probably know tons more than I do at this point too, because I've just mainly been focusing on developing content. So, and like I said, I've been very cautious as to how much I put out there right now. So, you know, I'm very in the infancy of marketing for this. But one blog in particular that I follow, well, one Twitter feed I follow is Indie Game Girl. Have you heard of it?
I think so.
No,
It rings a
I
bell,
haven't.
but I'm not sure.
It's a great resource for marketing. It's this woman who she did marketing for like Fortune 500 companies and stuff, and she's a gamer, and you know, she just ended up doing her own thing to help, like, originally to female game devs, but now just anyone can, like, you know, get her Twitter feed, and she's always sending out really great marketing tips and tricks for indie devs and stuff. So
Ooh,
it's great.
that's really awesome. I'm gonna have to get that.
we need to hop on that.
Like quick.
I'll do it right now.
Yeah. But were you thinking of doing a Kickstarter?
That is absolutely a necessity. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, you could make this kind of game with no money, but it's going to take 20 years. So,
Yeah.
Right.
but yeah, and at some point, I'm going to feel really bad for these people working with me not getting any money. So I really want to give them jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do plan on doing a Kickstarter. I'm planning actually to kick one off if I can get a playable demo this summer built. I want to do a Kickstarter in the fall or early winter.
Dude, I'm
So
so excited. Let us know when you pop that open or when you have the Kickstarter. 1 minute.
Go.
Next time we're talk to you, be like, yeah, dude, we got $1 million. You're like, no way. Oh man, that'd
hey,
be
give
so.
me some.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, are you gonna go to PAX Prime?
I'm not actually.
No, you're just so close to PAX East. You're just like, hey, why not?
Yeah, it was within range, so I was able to do it.
How'd you get the tickets, by the way?
A lot of just sitting for hours in front of my computer, trying not to hit refresh when they told you not to.
Oh man.
Because like, if you hit refresh, you go back in the queue. So like, I logged in the minute or the second that they started going on sale, but I actually had to wait about 2 hours before I actually got in the queue, and then you got to wait in the queue to actually be able to start purchasing your tickets. So
Now,
I was in there for about 3 hours.
Now, how much are the tickets, and like when do they go on sale? Because I've never I want to go, but I never really tried to buy the tickets.
The tickets were $45 per day, and it was a 3-day event. So I did the Friday, Saturday, and usually like Sunday. I would have done the Sunday, but usually they get the best stuff in on the Friday and the Saturday. And Sunday is just so the vendors can make their money, sucking off you for the $10 cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
So I decided to skip on the Sunday, but I think it's going to go up probably next year because the demand is just so high for those passes, and I think they know they can get the money for them. So I wouldn't be surprised if it goes up to like $70-$75 next year.
Damn, dude, that's a huge jump.
Damn.
Hopefully it doesn't.
Well, they
I hope it
put more
doesn't.
of that money back into it.
Right.
Let
I
me ask you
wouldn't mind if it was like even more craziness. Then like as long as you're getting what you paid for, it's not so bad. It's
Right. If they can
more
get
than
like
not getting more.
major keynotes in there, and still get like the really great pre-release games on the convention floor, it would still be worth $75 a day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Jake.
Yes, question from a designer's perspective, because that's my forte, is how did you go about getting the mechanics? Were you inspired by anything? Did you, for example, with our game, Kevin can be the first person to say it, but we were inspired for a couple of the mechanics in our game. Kevin, your tire, rest in peace. But what made you create some of the mechanics in your game? Tell us about the mechanics and mechanics.
Okay. Well, for inspiration, for any shooter, like Gears of War, and not so much Call of Duty because I don't really enjoy Call of Duty. The mechanics that game just, I don't know. They rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah, we don't talk about it.
We can all agree.
Call it what?
Right. But I do love like the in Mass Effect, the whole talent trees that you can build up your powers and modify your guns and stuff. So some of that mechanic is going to be something that I want to do in the game. There's also another alternative type of combat mode that I'm going to have as a combat mechanic, but I can't get too much into that right now. But it's going to be super cool. Plus, one of the other mechanics that I wanted to do was sometimes when you unlock certain content in other games, you don't want to break the action by reading. You're just in the middle of a firefight and stuff, and you unlock this codex. You're not going to take 10 minutes or 5 minutes or however long and read the codex that you just unlocked. You just want to keep on playing. So I want to develop a companion mobile app. So you unlock these graphic novels as you go along the game, and the graphic novels are going to have content that is not key to gameplay, but really expands the story and mythology of the game, and you're going to be able to read that on your own time, on your mobile apps, like the next day, or you're on the bus or you're at lunch.
Huh, that's really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think a lot of the developers we've been talking to like to integrate the whole phone app idea into their game. I think it's interesting how everyone's hopping on that.
Cross-platforming.
Yeah.
I actually find an actual need for it, because the stuff that I wanted to include in the game would cost way too much in time and money to actually animate. So I love graphic novels and comic books, and to have it on a mobile app is just way more convenient than to sit there in front of my TV and read a graphic novel on my TV screen.
Yeah.
So it actually fits the mechanic for me.
Have you gotten any investors interested in Legacy? That's really interesting. I want to know that.
One key investor right now. You want to take a guess?
You!
No, I have no money.
EA. I'm joking. Your wife.
My mother.
Your mother. That is awesome.
Hey.
Yes, she's been very key in helping me out in critical money crunch time situations. So.
Oh, our parents. So nice. That's awesome, though. That's pretty cool. And how about any press? Has anybody come up to you and be like, "Hey, what's this game about? We'd love to know more."
You guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Woo.
Yeah.
So
the only other mini press I guess I would say I got is that Twinfinite, twinfinite.com, twinfinite.net. They're like game bloggers. They subscribe to my Twitter feed, and that's about the only other press I get.
Oh, there you go.
now, go ahead, Jake.
I was gonna say the way I found you was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I was googling something about indie games, and then the first thing that popped up was Legacy. I was like, oh, this sounds cool. The name's catchy.
Wow,
It's Legacy.
nice.
So I clicked it, went in, saw your website, I saw all the stuff. I'm like, we gotta have this guy on the show. I freaking love his game. I want to know more about it. So I was
Great.
like, Facebook. That's
Yeah,
you.
Google.
Google,
Yeah.
Twitter, Facebook, dude. Oh, okay. Sean.
Yep.
I thought this was pretty badass myself when I went on the Facebook, and I'm like, no freaking way. You have a motion capture studio in your house.
Yeah, I do.
I missed that.
It was sick, dude. There's like little dots everywhere. It was pretty sick. How was that? How was doing that?
It's pretty damn fun, actually. I asked my wife if I could have the downstairs. She said, okay. So the downstairs, it's kind of like 2-bedroom size rooms together, because we took the wall out. And I have 2 first-gen Xbox Connects set up on opposite ends of the room, so I have like the depth sensing for the motion capture. And then I have the dots, so I can do motion capture for my Adobe After Effects using a camera, and doing the motion capture with the dots, so I can line it up with the animations.
Oh, wow.
Dude, you should have saw it. It was sick. I'm gonna try to pull up there, actually, in the artwork more. His hold on, if I can. It's not working because it's being stupid. You have a lot of concept art, and I love it. There was this one. It was
Thanks.
a mech, and I.
Oh yeah, the last one in the gallery.
Yeah, the last one. I'm like, there's mechs in it. Oh my god.
Yes.
We were
No
the kids on the
self-respecting
final one.
sci-fi game wouldn't have a mech in it.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yes. I'm glad you point that out for people who are confused.
Now was
How a sci-fi game works.
now was all this concept work done by you or somebody else or one of your artists?
All of the content that you see on the website, I did myself.
Oh wow.
Did you actually? It's Flash, right?
The website, yeah. I'm sorry. If you got a Mac, it might not come up.
Oh, it works.
Okay.
I was just I tried to open it on my phone, and it was like, oh, Flash.
And that's another thing. I
So did you
I
build
made the
it?
website myself, so I only know Flash. I wish I knew HTML. I would have made it that way, but
Oh my God, there it is, the mech. It looks so beautiful.
thanks, man.
It really does. I really like. Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I used to play this game with Brawley or Andy. It was Hawken, and
Yeah.
when I was little, I played like Arm Core, just all the mech games. Gundam Wing. You watched Gundam Wing. I'm a huge mech fan. Titanfall,
Yeah,
of
I'm
course.
old school Rotec fan. So
Oh, I played Robotech Battlecry for PS2.
nice.
That's about the
So-
one I've played, but that was a good game.
So from what I can tell, and based on what you've said, it's mostly just concept.
Right. It's pretty much all concept with minimal development at
Right.
this point.
I mean, there's story, there's everything but development. So
Right.
And
nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with a nice plan and having all the assets ready.
Well, that's the other thing I decided, if I'm going to do this, I just got to do what I can do. Like,
Right.
if I wait until I learn code, this is going to be another 20 years from now. So,
Yeah.
That's
right.
exactly how I've done things. Like I'll just start programming thing and throw crappy filler art in, and hope that maybe when it's done, I'll get someone to shove real art in. But I totally know where you're coming from with that.
just got to dive in.
Mhm.
Suggestion and question in the same. Is, when you were talking before about these people that paying them that are working with you,
Yes.
have you might have, I'm just asking, have you considered promising them or writing up contracts for percentages of the game's revenue? That kind of gives them a little bit more of an incentive to work.
I have thought of that, and I have talked about it with some people, and it's definitely a possibility. At the same time, some people have given me other ideas for future compensation that would work for them. So right now I'm doing it on an individual case by case basis, but for now it's like I'm just lucky enough that they really see the vision of the game and they just are willing to do this for free right now.
Yeah, no. That's nice.
But I definitely, I feel bad about it. Like, I honestly feel bad that I can't be paying them like top dollar for this because they're really great, at what they do. So,
How'd you meet them?
mostly through that internship.com website, and a few of them referred me, word of mouth to some people that they knew. So, that's pretty much how I did. And one guy, the composer, is from the same town I'm from in Massachusetts.
That's awesome.
So
Man. There you
he
go.
knew someone that I knew someone. So
Bada bing, bada boom.
Right.
We have a question on the Twitch, and he said the motion capture really caught his eye in Call of Duty and Avatar the movie.
Mhm.
Are you going to be using motion capture to make lifelike animations in your game?
absolutely am. Yep. Partially because it's way quicker than keyframe animation by hand. So what I plan on doing is doing all of the major blend shape animations by motion capture and then tweaking them by hand and then putting them into the game.
Dude, I'm so excited about your game. It has mechs. It's sci-fi. Like, I want it now. Go make it right now.
I know I want it. Like I actually want to play it right now. I'm just like, yeah. But yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
That's so cool. Well, to wrap it up, this is the last question I always ask developers. Always ask, what would you tell other indie developers making a game or that want to make a game?
Just start doing it right now. Whatever you know how to do, like we were just talking about, just start doing it. If you know how to code, just start coding something. I actually, one of the talks that I went to at PAX, they were talking about their first games that they ever made, and I forget the panelist who was saying it, but she suggested make a game a week. It doesn't even have to be anything like amazing, just like just some simple mechanic that you can make, or a card game, or like some kind of tic-tac-toe kind of game, or just start making games. Try make one a week, and repetition, you start to get those skills down, and you can move on from there. So
That's awesome. That's some really, really good information right there.
Yeah.
I just say start doing it. Don't just do what you can do. That's all I say.
Well, Sean, I really appreciate you. If anybody has any other questions, anybody on the Twitch, Jake, Aaron, Andy, feel free to throw them out now before we close it up. I really appreciate you coming on here. Like I said, all you indie devs are like, thank you for coming on the show. We've had really good turnout with what's in the box, so we just keep on going, and definitely come back to us. And when you have some working prototypes, or if you just want to come on the show and chill out and hang out,
That'd be great.
Yeah, dude, you're more than welcome. More than welcome.
And I love what you guys are doing. I think it's great that you're making this forum for indie devs to get a face out there, and to talk with everybody. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We,
I really like it.
We try and stay in touch with a lot of our indie developers. Like one of the first guy we ever did a show with actually lives in Columbus up here, and we do monthly company cookouts, and apparently we're going to a gun range, courtesy of Kevin. We're getting to do that
Boom!
in the next few weeks, which is exciting. But
Can I come with my microphone and get some
Yes,
audio?
more than welcome to, sir.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, man.
Obviously, you're in New Hampshire. You probably wouldn't be able to come to something like that. But
Right.
if you ever want to hop into our meetings, we have meetings a couple times every week where we just kind of sit and talk. We have this one guy that we interviewed last week. It was Scott, and he comes in every once in a while. He talks to us. So it's if you ever questions for us or just want to hang out, talk to other devs, because I know it inspires the hell out of me to talk to other developers to go over
Totally.
what I do. So just
Yeah,
be
that'd
sure
be
to
great, man. I
shoot us a
appreciate it.
message. Not a problem.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, that's the end of What's in the Box Legacy at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Next Tuesday, we'll try to get you another indie dev on here and get their game out. We're gonna work on that this week, and hopefully, you'll be pretty excited. If you have not, make sure you go check out his website. He has a Facebook as well. That's on the bottom down here. I'll link it for you guys. And guys, make sure you just check out Kickstarter. Check out Check out Green Steam. Check out Steam Greenlight if you can. There's a bunch of indie games out there, and I really, really highly suggest you guys go, find an indie game or anything like that, and just support it. Give them that $10 in Kickstarter, or that $5, or $1, whatever you can give. These games are awesome. I'm a huge indie pixel. Wow, I can't talk today. Sick and can't talk today. I love pixel games. I love indie games, and yeah, man, this industry it's awesome. I'm glad we're in it. But thank you. I'm Kevin. Fancy Box Dev Team. Wave goodbye. Sean, thank you again. Guys, we'll see you next Tuesday, or maybe sooner. Dum dum dum. I don't know. I did. Okay. Bye, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh man, these are so much fun, man.
We're not live now, right?
No, we're not.
This is one of those things where you are live, but you forget.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh snap. No.
Well, let me rip one.
So that's-
yeah.
So who's getting naked for? Wait, what?
Oh.
No one? Alright, good.
So I hope I didn't bring you guys' standards down tonight.
No, man, that was really fun.
Oh, you're awesome.
That was really fun. We enjoy these all the time. We really do. This is a highlight of my week when I do these.
Nice.
Yes, I love this. I actually wanted to talk to you, Kevin. Do you want to start doing them Tuesdays and Thursdays, or should we just keep it once a week?
We could do 2 Thursdays.
Once a week.
Well, if Aaron says once a
once a
week.
week for now, especially because
Okay.
I mean you can dry
Because
out a barrel
I would
really fast.
prefer to,
Yeah, that's fine. If you
make the game on Thursday.
Yeah, that's fine. If we get more people, or people are like, hey, I want more videos, then we can do more. But yeah, if Aaron, Andy, and everybody wants to do the game and stuff like that, then we'll just keep it with
Hey, Jake.
Tuesdays.
You missed it last week. You kept referring to last week as Scott's, but it was
That's right.
not.
I know.
It was
I don't know.
Subnet, wasn't it? I believe no, it was it was
No.
Pixel Noir.
Yeah,
That was
that
fun.
one was was probably the
The one dev on
craziest one because it was so unstructured.
Yeah,
We didn't even get through half of the questions we had, and then we were like, oh, it's been an hour now, guys.
then it started the lag. The lag was horrible.
Oh yeah.
Question about your whole UDK thing. Well, actually, it's not a question. It's kind of a relation. I don't know. Whatever. I'm a big fan of UDK. I actually, I'm a game design student, by the way. I have, I actually have classes where I have to do stuff like this. For
I'll be
example,
right back.
my next 2 classes coming up are level design 1 and 2, and I'm a huge, like, I'm about to graduate. I'm like within my last couple class shot or whatever, and I'm so familiar with UDK because I love game development so much, and I've made just crap on there for my own portfolio. Because when I graduate, I want to have like a really built portfolio, and Fancy
Right.
Box is also something awesome to have on there. But I can't. It's exciting going in there because for the first 2 months of the class, we have to have a whole level built out, and I have like 7 sitting in the background. Well, not 7. I have a couple just sitting that I could totally use as a project. So
Nice.
that whole like making something that you said, making something just to do it.
Yep.
Whatever you can do. UDK is an exciting engine.
Yeah, and it's very, very intuitive. I found so.
Yeah. I actually have I think over next week or the next couple weeks, I'm gonna try and make like a swamp map to add to my demo reel. But that's cool.
Just
like
kind of varied the environments a little bit.
Yeah. I want to go super in depth. I want to put like clues and have like a story kind of written into the level itself.
And a swamp would be great for reflections.